Hello and welcome, mourners, to the Dirge of Mourning. I am your host, Andrew, alongside Terry. In today's episode, we'll be looking at an album called, and I hope I pronounced this right, Kamaratòn by Embrace My Ruin, released in 2024.
Oh, wow. Newer.
Yes. This is basically their first album.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. And when I was doing whatever research I could with this band, I found that they did a sort of like EP demo-y type thing all the way back in 2006.
Oh my goodness. That's a long time for them to stay together.
Right?
Wow.
This song starts off with a synthesizer as orchestral elements are added.
Yeah.
This has a very gloomy intro, and I absolutely love it.
I thought it was beautiful. My word was beautiful.
Yes, I agree it is beautiful as well, but I'm going to save that part for something later on.
It's darkly beautiful.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I mean, I loved the intro.
It is awesome. It really is.
It really
is a fantastic way to start an album.
Start an album, right?
So we then get those beautiful piano being played. It adds to the whole atmosphere and dynamic.
Strings, keyboard, piano. I was like thrilled.
Like I said, that whole atmosphere from all of it, just perfect.
It's really good. It is.
Round about the 2-minute and 20 mark, that's where the unhappiness truly begins.
Yeah.
Because that's when it all kicks off. We get this great big mixture of all the instruments and that atmosphere mixing in, coming in and out of each other, blending perfectly. I had to sit back in awe of just how well it was put together.
It really is. I enjoyed that. I was like surprised. You have the beautiful intro part, and then all of a sudden it's like this beat just drops with this slow thuds.
Yep, and it was just brilliant. Each instrument adding to that sort of grief-stricken element that, we're all here for. That's why we love Funeral Doom. It just really exacerbates that element.
Absolutely. As
we have those notes, going forth, we have those death growls as well added in there.
Yeah.
That, I don't think perfection is the word I need. I need something better. Because they were done, they're incredible. They fit so well within the mix.
They were so slow. It was like
They were very methodical as well.
And I suppose the word might be enunciated. They were enunciated very well. It was very slow.
Yes, very clear.
I liked it.
It was very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at around the 4-minute and 52-second part, this is where it caught me off guard. As I was writing down my notes, we have choral-like sounds from the instruments, blending in to, that classic Funeral Doom sound as it weaves in and out, similar to how the intro started.
Mm-hmm. It's really, it is nice. I did notice that too.
That's the part where I think that's where the beauty comes in. Awe-inspiring.
It is. I like when they do stuff like that.
And then we get that beautiful fade out with the piano at the end. It just hits all the right notes for me of how you start a Funeral Doom album.
It's a great first song. Great opening.
Absolutely.
And it really, I always go into these albums thinking, am I going to like it or not? And this one, the moment it started, I was like, okay, I'll do this one.
This is just awesome. This is the exact way you want to do an intro for a title song. Moody ambience, a build-up of the guitar.
Yes.
Just full-on Funeral Doom. This is the experience right here. This is what it's all about.
This one I found to be quite a bit different than the first one.
Mm-hmm. We have mixtures of organs.
Yeah, which is cool.
Done, again, to absolute perfection. They do not drone on too long. They are played with an awesome melancholy melody. Goosebumps is what it gave me.
Yeah, it's really
in terms of playing. Of course, the death growls are excellent. They are just excellent. absolutely awesome.
It's very solemn.
It is. And each part is adding to this cemetery-like discord. Because again, it is very loud and in your face.
Yeah.
But it is solemn and it is weepy and it is just fantastic.
It does draw you in.
It does. So if you are looking for something that has got a bit more of that heavy metal element.
That was another word I used.
This is going to be something that you're definitely going to want to check into because it does deliver. They're bringing all of the main functions of this genre.
I put little stars on this one.
It is a really good track. It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a build-up again of the music and that doomy approach to things. The synthesizer plays another part here as well. Just, I love it. Absolutely love it. If you're going to do a title track with this amount of emotion and feeling and just, it doesn't pull its punches, this is how you're going to do it. This is the blueprint of doing it. Well, one of the standout points here is, of course, the piano and I believe the acoustic guitar at about the 6-minute and 11-second point. That floored me in a good way. I was so happy to hear something so authentic in its execution. Every member of this band should walk away knowing that they've created an absolute masterpiece with this song.
Yeah, plus that is sort of unexpected. You're not really expecting, and then it's there, and it's perfect.
It is. With that being said, I'm done. I don't need to review anymore. Reach the pinnacle of this album. Go out, buy it, do whatever you've done. Right? I'm done, guys. I'll see you all next time, I guess. Until next time, mourners. Blah blah blah. See you, Tumble.
What about the other tracks?
All right. I'll finish off.
Look, we don't want to miss out.
So, after that epic little break in the song, the sorrow and the pain returns, full force. All the elements that you could want in this awesome song quietly fade at the end. We're not even fully into the album. This is just track fucking 2.
Right.
And I feel
surprising.
like it's surprising, right?
It's surprising. It's like that it captures you so quickly.
Right? The quality is just amazing.
It is.
Guitars. That's how this one's going to open up. And it does so with the drums. Perfectly executed. Every note perfectly placed. Why? Because these guys aren't fucking about. That's one thing I'm starting to realise. They're here to do one thing and one thing only. And this, I believe, is going to be the song that's going to deliver on these elements. Because like we just discussed in the last two, we're getting more than we bargained for. And it's only going to get better. And here's how. As all those instruments are being played in their slow, methodical manners, we've got that synthesized doom coming back in all of its mournful glory. Or should I say, unmourned glory.
Unmournful glory, right.
Death growls are haunting and on point. There's a certain vocal effect that is being used with these vocals that is adding to its atmosphere.
Yeah.
I genuinely cannot get enough of the way that it sounds. You can hear each word, you can feel each syllable. It is so impactful.
I really like that I can understand what they're saying. That is probably one of my pet peeves. I really want to know what's being said. Even if it is in death growl, I want to understand it.
Right, right. I
you might not be staring at the lyrics, so you kind of want to know what it's about.
Right, I fully agree. Like, that really ticks all the boxes of funeral doom. Well, as this track closes out with the guitar weeping and the synthesizers playing to a faded out end. Right out of the cemetery gate, this song just kicks in deep and heavy. The guitars, the bass, drums, the synthesizer, all of the atmospheric elements are right here and in full swing. Some of the best I've heard from a first album like this. And I'm genuinely just going to say, that was like such an awesome way to kick it off
Okay, so the main thing that I have to say about this song and with the music element, I'm not going into the lyrics yet, but just with the music element, the way that the music is delivered, especially from that middle to the end, exemplifies the actual meaning of the song.
Yes.
So even if you didn't know what they're saying or have lyrics, you could get this feeling.
I agree 100% because I did put in brackets. Maybe this could have just been an instrumental because you would have felt it.
You would have. You have that swirling water feeling. You do.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was amazing.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazing. When you can put a meaning through the actual playing of the instruments for the music, that's pretty amazing.
This is why Funeral Doom to me is the best genre, because it's moments like this where I could sit here and go, wow, that standing ovation just for the music alone.
There are very few music genres that can move me as much as Funeral Doom. I would say, however, classical music can also do this.
Of course.
But this is probably one of the reasons I like Funeral Doom as well, because the music is very intelligent music.
Absolutely.
They have thought about it. It's not
just
standing up on a stage and playing a guitar. No.
Right. This is why, again, some other musical styles within the heavy metal umbrella do not move me the same way. They do not spark anything in me the same way that Funeral Doom does. And this song is a prime example of why. You have these elements, like when the guitar is fading out at that middle section and you get that feedback as it brings in all the other elements again.
That was really good.
Like, you actually have to know not just your instrument, but still make it sound like an actual note is being played at that moment.
It was really interesting.
Like, these guys aren't just talented, they are masters. And I am now understanding why it has taken so long for something like this to happen since the last time they put out music. They have crafted an awesome piece of Funeral Doom. And I really just want to know one thing.
Yes.
As I'm saying that they have done all of this, why is it that the piano work near the end of this song is so fucking amazing?
Well, because it is.
Right? Because those pieces of piano could genuinely be used at an actual funeral. And it's amazing. Like, I know I keep using the same words over and over again, and I'll explain why later.
So far, we're in agreement. We're right on track with everything.
Have you ever heard a guitar cry?
I even mentioned it. I don't usually write too much about music, but I did mention it.
Because that's what this sounds like.
For the first whole 2 minutes.
The whole doom-laden landscape of this introduction is one of absolute sorrow. But then we get that crushing atmosphere. The death growls come in, they pound you with cold winds, that frostbitten bite to his vocals. The music is like snow falling and it's heavy and thick. This is Funeral Doom in a frozen cemetery.
Ah, yes.
The emotions are of ice. Your breath lingers. And I attribute that to the way that these guys are playing this music. They have captured an actual element again, just like we did in the last song. They were managing to create water and oceans and waves, and now we've got this frozen, icy, snowy tundra. And holy Christ, am I the only one that feels cold when listening to this song? Like, I genuinely felt frozen inside. I was like, I've got like 3 layers on because of this damn thing.
Our degrees right now in here is 15 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're really cold.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
But no, outside of just capturing the element of winter, they also, of course, add in some great usage of the synthesizing moods that are used, the drum beat, the guitar tones, all of these things are, of course, still your classic Funeral Doom. Now, when you add all of those together and you've got this atmosphere of, like I said, winter, there is nothing better to have on an album like this. So it drives home when we get to those lyrics.
Yes. The thing I noticed about the music were the very pretty choral voices being used, like around the middle. Mm-hmm. And also, there are these notes that are discordant. Mm-hmm. So that is being put in there to make a point about the meaning of what's going on.
Yeah, it's those elements that bring about not just like what the lyrics are talking about, but this atmosphere of winter time, cold, almost a touch of death, really.
Wait till we get to the lyrics.
I know. Oh. When you go and listen to this album, you will not be disappointed. Because so far, I'm not.
Oh, I really liked it. And like I said, I go in kind of sometimes grudgingly, and then I was very surprised by this album.
Well,
in a pleasant way. Yeah.
For this one, our intro is of drums. The synthesizer is a great complement to these drums.
Well, I even noticed strong beats, like really strong.
The intensity of that driving force. Right. While all that is going on, we get those little pulses of orchestration thrown in as well, with that synthesized, crystal clear orchestrational elements. Yeah. To create an atmosphere that is not just funeral doom, but is really, really getting into that element of pure doom. Like, we are dreading what is coming.
Yeah.
And that is all one big payoff to when the death growls kick in. There's something unsettling. Like, the misery in this guy's voice. Like, you can feel the, anticipation of the pain and the anguish all there in the vocals.
I was like, utter depth of despair.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And with all of these elements again, when they all turn into that gloomy and doomy darkness.
Well, something I did notice about the music on this, toward the end though, there's a shift, and the music begins to have this little uplifting thing, and when we get into the lyrics, I'm going to touch more on that.
Yes,
aspect.
So when that uplifting element happens, it happens in a way you wouldn't expect it to. It's those little subtle touches in the notes that they play that are more happier, shall we say, for lack of a better phrasing.
Yes, more pleasant.
Yes, they're more pleasant. That's the correct term here, yes. A very beautiful element to it.
As a whole, the album is just amazing to listen to. This is the kind of album you could just put on, play on your computer, your phone, or whatever, walk around, have a very pleasant experience just listening. You want a deeper experience, get the lyrics out and read, but it's just very well put together and done right. So I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm simply going to put it like this. I had a really hard time reviewing this album.
Mm-hmm.
I kept catching myself just listening to this masterclass in funeral doom. I had to go, oh shit, I'm supposed to write that down. That's why if it sounds like I'm repeating myself or it sounds all disjointed, it's because I just enjoyed 100% listening to what was going on. It was an overwhelming experience that I loved.
And that, I think, is what they were aiming for. Oh, not separate songs, but as a total experience.
Right, because if that's not what they were aiming for, they ended up doing it. And again, that's just the music. We haven't even touched on the lyrical aspects. Speaking of which, shall we do that now?
Yeah, I think so. Through a Shattered Glass. And just gorgeous song, as we've said. But the lyrics... I just can't say enough. I mean, when you put together... Okay, so you always listen to the music and pick apart the music because you're really good at that. Yes, fantastic. But then when you add in, it's just so good.
So what's your favorite line or verse or what have you?
Okay, torn apart through time or by time as time went by. So torn apart. That is really an interesting phrase because I felt that it just captured this sort of looking back at time, a reflection on things.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that this, you're looking back on a reflection and it's shattered glass.
Mm-hmm.
So did they mean it that way? I don't know, but that's what I'm getting.
Well,
and
it's clearly a metaphor, obviously.
Also, the words toward the end, caught in a painful web of sharpened fragments. I mean, my gosh.
That is my favorite fucking part of the lyrics. I read those and I'm like, okay, we're not dealing with your average band anymore.
No.
These guys are, again, thinking seriously about what words go where and what their meanings are meant to be.
It definitely is a song where not only is the music well thought out, but the music and the lyrics combine so that it's one thing.
Yep.
It's not like we're going to play this little bit of music, and then we're going to do some lyrics, and then we're going to play this. It's like the lyrics and the music uphold each other.
Yeah, this is an experience.
Not just in this song, but in all the songs. But it's a perfect blend.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is an experience. You have to experience this.
You do. You do. I mean, I just couldn't get over how good it was, how well it came together.
Right.
And yeah, the lyrics are not long, they're not complex, but they drive home an idea.
That is complex. The idea is. But the words are simplified to help get that point across.
Yeah.
Which I think is just a genius way of, like, getting across something that most people have a hard time coping with. Like, when we do look back at our past, it is kind of fragmented and all sorts of weirdness going on from all various things that we've done. They don't string together in a seamless, like, line.
Right.
You remember parts of, like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that, and, oh, that's a bit effy, but maybe that happened, I can't really tell.
Well, right, and that's where you
that.
get, like, the entwined strands.
Right.
So this bit, you know, everything kind of culminates then with this sadness. So, anyways, that was my main point was, you know, shattered glass, and it was definitely about
collections of
emotions being fragmented. So. Kamaratòn is, as we said, musically absolutely gorgeous, and I do believe this particular track was freely adapted from a poem by Berardino Rota.
Oh.
So this was not like an original lyric, but adapted from this poem.
Okay, so very inspired, heavy concept here.
I believe that this is one moment in time.
Okay.
This is, I believe, one's death.
This
is what I believe this is.
Hey, I'm listening.
Okay. So, the journey that's going on here of this ship, because that's what it's talking about, is a metaphor, and I think it's a metaphor for death. Your death.
Interesting. Because I just assumed that it was just a straightforward concept on that idea.
Right. It's a the ship is not a ship, it's you.
Right. So, like, I assumed that, like, you know, I didn't expect to, like, you know, go into the whole metaphorical element of it, but no, you're absolutely right. It is 100% a metaphor, because, again, you are a vessel.
Right. So the last stanza, I'm just going to read it so that they'll understand. There's no question that this is what it is. No choices left but to sink, wishing to kill who taught me to breathe. It's your moment. It's just, I just think it's a moment. I don't think it's your whole life. I think this is what it's talking about.
Well, see, I guess my favorite part would be these lines, because I guess it kind of ties into that whole idea of, like, you know, death coming, in a sense. Here, an unseizable ghost in the loneliest of the night.
Right, but what
to me that seems like something is coming after you.
Yes, but what's right before that? A whistle of the minstrel, a crackling of the mainmast. In other words, I'm broken, I'm dead. That's it.
Yeah, you're sort of in your organ failure type idea.
for lack of better, the death with the sickle. That's it.
Yes.
It's just that it's just being described as a ship. And that you are the ship. And
yeah, this is the Grim Reaper coming for you.
That's it. Unmourned. First of all, love that title. The Unmourned. I love it. It's so painful.
I know, just the title alone is like, that's miserable.
Yeah, there's a forgotten
how would you feel
in that cemetery. The unmourned, the forgotten ones.
I imagine, you're just the title again, not the actual lyrics, but just the title of you are so unmournable. You're not even worth crying over or grieving or even thinking about when you kick the bucket.
So
such a great title. It's just such a great title.
In this one, I think, are a sort of a fight between death and whomever. And so it's the last and final result that happens in this. Okay, so that that because it's saying there can be but one result. My dad used to say 2 things in life for sure, death and taxes. Yep. Okay, here's one of them. Something every single human, every single living creature will face.
Well, here's the thing. You pointed out that there can be only one result. It's actually from that paragraph that I took what I enjoyed from the lyrics. I'm going to read them out here. Just so people are aware of the full context here. Together bound to this doom, no matter how we may endeavour, there can be but one result. Closest we were, too close for forgiveness. So many words could have been spoken, but I finally shall weep for your death.
Right. I also loved closest we were, too close for forgiveness. And I think the key is too close.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's the key part I took away from it as well.
And I loved the really slow enunciation of the lines in the last portion. It just drove home. Here we go. Come, friend or traitor, come. There is no escape from this blemish we bear. I'm waiting once again for your mercy. Oh.
Just the way it was done was just phenomenal.
Oh. Think about it. Yikes. That's scary. The deepest ocean. And so I guess before you go any further, I have to say my favourite lines.
I'm sorry, I can't hold it in any longer. Drifting downwards, enshrined by despair, all the light fades away. That, right there, makes me so happy to read. No, honestly, they are just such good concepts and wording right there. It really paints a really cool picture.
This one in particular, I'd put 3 stars and put love the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Very, very slow, deliberate delivery because it is underscoring the meaning. So, what I get from this complete message here is actually regret.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, that would be the word that I would use.
Oh yeah, you definitely are drowning in that regret. That's why it's called the deepest ocean. It's that pit of, maybe that should have went a different way.
It's just so sad. I always use the word sad, but when you have the portion we were talking about, where you get the softer guitar in the middle to end,
yep.
That's where it exemplifies the swirling waves and the drifting downward, as you just read, drifting downward.
There was a reason why I wanted to say that, because again, that is the image that I was hoping it would create lyrically, and they did so perfectly.
Oh, definitely. So the music and the words and the way they deliver everything.
Oh, it goes hand in hand.
So all I can say is regret. And when I think of regret, I that's a really awful feeling, you know?
It's a very miserable, like, state to be in.
Yeah. You regret, possibly not perhaps expressing your good feelings to someone before they pass. That could be a regret.
Or even your negative feelings.
Lots of things you could regret. Yeah, that too. But, regret is attached to a sense of hopelessness because it's too late. It's just too late. Yeah,
you've got nothing to show for what it is that you were planning to do. Right. This is lyrically, this is heavy as fuck.
I know.
And it's just crafted brilliantly.
I mean, all of them are, though. But this one, lyrically, and in addition with the music and the whole...
It does stand out just a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of its wording.
Yeah. Yes. As Winter Comes is, as Andrew already sort of described with the music, the coldness, the, very edgy winter feeling, and it is also in the lyrics. So.
Oh, yes.
To me, with this song, I got a feeling old. Mm-hmm. Feeling old, like time is going or already went. Like time's gone.
That brings me to my favourite part of the song.
Okay.
No need for a mirror to see how weak I've become. Now, this is going to sound strange to probably most people out there, but I am 34 years of age, right?
Young.
Yeah, shut up. But even I can feel time catching up with me. I do look in the mirror every day and go, oh, that's a new thing, and oh, what's that? And that's a grey hair, what the fuck? And, I've got the aches and the pains of all the bullshit. I can totally understand it, because again, you wouldn't think someone of my age would be going through all that shit. But it was like a genuine slap in the face when I read those words, because I was like, I get it. I understand this.
So, winter is sometimes used to express in literature and art your final aging. In other words, you can find, especially during like the Art Nouveau period, a lot of art and literature and music and things use spring, summer, fall, and winter to
express the life cycle.
Right. So as winter comes, you're starting to feel it. But you're not in winter yet, so just be quiet.
I know, but
I'm in winter. I'm in winter. I'm truly in winter. And it's also 15 degrees outside, so it is truly winter. But, okay. So what I noticed was it's like you're looking back and you're looking at the losses, the failures, the loss of a loved one. You're looking at, what this is a contemplation. It's just, like you said, maybe I look at this, or I feel this, or whatever. That's what it is. It's describing that sort of moment.
Yeah, as I was saying, right? I know I'm way too young to be at death's door, right?
Right.
But...
Well, hopefully I am too. I'm not ready.
But even I can understand what the message is, right? Like that particular line, like I said, it smacked me in the face, and I'm like, oh, I get it. Oh, I get exactly where this is going.
As I said before, with those discordant notes, kind of saying, here we are.
Absolutely.
We're in winter. You're in winter.
One of the and the color scheme as well of winter is very dark, greys, whites. It's a very muted color palette,
like monochromatic, or just no real color. Right.
And I think that paints a fantastic lyrical picture.
Your color, even in your face,
from
everything, just everything.
Yeah.
So that's what this song really is about. It's wonderful. It is wonderful. We come to the final track, and I'm gonna try not to slaughter the name of this, Pareidolia. And I had to look this up. What this word means is when a person looks at things that are unrelated, but makes them be related. In
Yes.
other words, the mind says, oh, well, there's an apple, there's a toy, and there's a branch, but those are odd. What is it about? This, to me, was about utter depths of despair. The memories are torturous. They're torturous. This is not what you want to be going through.
No. Fuck no.
So, your heart's bleeding. You're ravaged. Look at these words. Heart bleeds, cruelly ravaged, sadness of memories, mocking my tortured mind. Okay, so it goes on like that through most of the song with the way it's presented. Then, at the end, the final stanza, the final line.
No. Before we get to the final line, I'm going to read the entire thing.
Do you want me to read it?
No, I'm going to, because I have to get this across, because this is what made me realize why this album kicks so much ass.
Go ahead.
For each pain I've mourned, I have found new strength. For each wound suffered, I bear the scars of healing. For each loss endured, I have found the promise of hope.
Hope. That's the key right there.
This is what it's about.
In the music, that's when it begins to sound uplifting. So that's why we were talking about that before. And then we have the line telling us that. So it shocked me, actually. There's this poem about this horrible feeling and this torture and everything's horrible, but yet there's a promise of hope. How odd. I find this very odd.
Well, I don't.
In Funeral Doom.
No, actually, this is actually a huge staple within Funeral Doom. This is actually the main purpose of Funeral Doom.
Ah.
Especially when it comes to its musical element.
Okay, so you're talking about the, healing element of the music and healing and... Okay, gotcha.
So when you read the words written within Funeral Doom, they are relatable words to whatever tragedy is happening to you or has happened.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So, upon reading these words that are so blunt and so to the point that every person has gone through those moments of, oh, I'll never heal from this. This is the darkest day in my life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Eventually, we do somehow crawl ourselves up from that torment, that grief, that heartache, that overwhelming sense of I don't want to be here anymore.
That is true. Most people do eventually, one way or another, continue to live, even if it is with they're carrying something. But life goes on.
Right.
For the living, the life goes on. Right.
Right. So when someone passes away, or we lose friendships, or romantic interests, and all of these other elements, right? The main element I get from every piece of Funeral Doom that I've ever come across is the sense of, it sucks now. Sucks right now that you've had to go through this. But you're still here.
And I suppose that is a good point, because the reason I suppose that people write these things and sing about these things is because they're expressing these emotions and these feelings that happen, these things that happen, so that they themselves might be needing to heal.
Right.
So again, whether you need to or someone else needs to, it's I guess that is what the point would be. Yes.
Funeral Doom is that concept of you can heal.
I agree. The cover art looks to me like some kind of a painting, whether it be acrylic or oil, and you have colors being used like your sort of charcoal grays and white and a sort of a greenish tint, almost green-gray tint in there. It's really quite beautiful. There's a silhouette of a face. And
yes, there's a female face in this sort of mood, abstract-y type painting. And
then in the back is looks like what might be a man or a young man walking.
Yes, there is a sort of weird figure, isn't there?
Oh yeah, that's a figure, and it blends together very nicely. I think it's really very nice.
In fact, I'm going to say this: Each stroke of the brush or technique that is used represents each part of this album.
Possibly, yes.
Because think about it, we've got at the bottom that looks like waves crashing on an iceberg.
Right.
Then we've got at the top on the, next to the female's face, this sort of disjointed, scratched element that almost could be broken or shattered, like glass.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You starting to see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. But it's beautiful nonetheless.
Oh, it absolutely is. That's why I think we should give it a 10 out of 10.
I think so too.
Album scoring.
Okay, so we already know this one.
Do you want to say it then?
Well, do you want to read my mind?
I am now trying to communicate with the one they call Terry. She has decided to go with... we don't do scoring that high.
I know. We have to just go with the amounts we've put.
Okay, so it's a 10 out of 10, folks.
Obviously.
A fantastic album.
Obviously.
Highly recommended.
We liked every song, every bit of music, every bit of lyrics. What more can you say?
Well, I'm going to say this. This is going to be our final words.
Yes?
Just wow. I can't stop listening to this album. Since I found this band, and upon doing this review, I have yet to put this record down. I can't stop, hitting play. I love it in all of its forms. This is where my whole concept for what Funeral Doom is. This is a prime example of it. This is music for the metalhead in mourning. That is how I sum this up. Well, until next time, mourners, remember, every day is a funeral.